Welcome back. It is Femme Friday. It's my favorite day because I get to shove feminism down your throats, bros. That's how this works. I wish that was not a joke. Hi. All right, so we have an amazing panel today. We have the one and only Francesca Fiorentini, who is coming to us very early in the morning from the city of angels. It is so early there. She is the host of the Situation Room. It's pretty
It's
early.
9:15.
I mean,
like, give me more credit.
You're a comedian, though. Don't you do like things till 4? Aren't like sets start at 1 a.m.?
That's true. Very true. I do have a show starts tonight at like 11:15, and I'm like, God damn it!
Why?
It'll be great. Anyway, hi. Thanks for having me. What's up?
Femme has MME. Just want you to know. I want to make it very like femme fatale. You know, you got to teach the guys everything. Teach them how to spell femme.
Yeah, like La Femme Nikita. That's what it is. Yeah.
And then we have our other favorite femme comedian, Lauren Ashcraft. She is the host of Biting Commentary, where she eats some food and talks some politics. And it's basically my life when I'm not on camera, which I love. I also bite people sometimes. All right. No, you don't have to fix it in post, David. I like calling you out on camera. That's part of this. That's why people like us. We are not professional. We can fix her things on screen. All right, I want to start off with the news of the week. I mean, this is, as someone who has frequented this this block many a times, who's seen the beautiful Christmas, specifically Christmas decorations, even if it's a menorah, it is still Christmas. When you enter that building, it is Christmas, and if you do not believe in Christmas, you have to leave. Of course, I'm talking about Fox News. They have a giant holiday, like that whole area is just like full of holiday decorations. And of course, we all saw the video of the Christmas tree lit on fire. Never let a good crisis go to waste, as Rahm Emanuel once said. And Fox News is really not caring about any other issues right now. And as a result, we're going to do the same thing. Let's play this clip of Fox News really obsessed with this.
That you don't see the crime unless you're watching Fox News covered on mainstream media.
That's true.
Until someone's popular or a Christmas tree is burnt down in front of Fox News.
The mayor of New York City held a press conference yesterday and did not mention the burning of the Fox Christmas tree. Didn't even mention it.
Now,
nothing there.
Oh my God!
How dare he?
Well, he's in Ghana. Let's pause it for a second.
That's even better. I think the Ghanaian people need to. I believe it's Ghanaian. Need to hear about the Fox News tree first and foremost. What is he doing in Ghana?
He's looking for his next crypto deal. No,
that makes sense.
I'm kidding. Of course, we're talking about mayor-elect, and they also called him the mayor. Wait, are they going after Eric Adams?
I was like, who are we talking about? Yeah.
Hey, it's this weird moment. I mean, of course they're going to go after de Blasio. It's always de Blasio's fault. Yeah, of course. No, I think that Varney has another agenda. He's not necessarily, I mean, the fact that he has a person of color on his show is remarkable for Stuart Varney. But Stuart Varney, I think, has an agenda that he's going to start with next year when Eric Adams, a former police officer and lieutenant, quote unquote reformer, crypto advocate, so many things. He's a vegan. He lives in New Jersey. Who knew you could do that? There's just a whole lot of stuff that Eric Adams has on his plate. But I am actually surprised that he has not talked about the Christmas tree, not for the same reasons, mainly because it is an opportunity to talk about crime, which he seems obsessed with.
Oh God, this does feel like a sneak peek of all the like BS, like coded but not coded racist critiques that Eric Adams is going to receive. Every single amount of crime is going to be blamed on him, and yet, so then you have to defend him from the right-wing attacks while also being like, no, you're a neoliberal former cop, and you don't have enough plans for like actually transforming New York to be safe, actually safe. Anyway, that's a fun little, I just saw into the future a bit, like the ghost of Christmas future.
Ghost of Christmas future. War on Christmas future. Come on, get it right. Hashtag war on Christmas future. I mean, Lauren, you're a New Yorker. How bad is the crime? Have you left your home today?
I mean, I'm scared. I have some Christmas decorations in my window, and I'm scared that Eric Adams will personally set them on fire.
Yep.
Oh, Eric Adams will.
Yes.
Is he going to, I know this is a little too far, but is he going to Jussie Smollett this and blame it on Can we say that now?
I think that Fox News is Jussie Smolletting the entire Christmas tree burning. And it's so funny because it's the way that Ted Cruz responds on Twitter to like anyone who dunks on him or him sort of like owning himself without realizing it. And then he just keeps doubling and tripling and quadrupling down on something that clearly makes him look like an idiot. That's what this is. It's like, yeah, man, someone set your dumb tree on fire. And now you making a big deal of it makes it even funnier. It keeps going. But it's also like, I'm like, oh, I'm so obsessed with Succession. And this is such a scene out of Succession, right? Like, what? Huh? They burn the tree? Fuck off. Ah, like that totally happens. Roman Roy's got to like go out and give a speech when they like erect a new tree.
No, but this is it. To go back to the Jussie Smollett point, because we had a little break and I was watching the news and eating breakfast. That's what you do in the middle of a show. You just go, sure. We've actually never done that before. And it was nice. It was nice to take a little pause. But they were talking about the Jussie Smollett trial. And, I'm no expert on the trial or the case, but it seems to me like what he did is no different than what Roger Stone has been doing his entire career. He has been creating multiple scenarios in which someone's the victim or creates a fake situation, or that idiot who did go to jail. I mean, both of them gone to jail now. That idiot from Project Veritas. I mean, all of Project Veritas is the Jussie Smollett. Like, why is Jussie Smollett, a black man, gay man, the one who is now the poster child for this, and not Roger Stone, the entire Republican Party, and of course Project Veritas? Why, Lauren? What do you think?
I just, the entire justice system in general, we just see people of color being treated much differently than rich old white guys. So I think that's pretty much, that's pretty much the rule. What is the color of your skin? That will determine how you're punished.
That seems about, I mean, we have to codify that at least so people know now.
Might clearly. As well make it constitutional.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also, like, I kind of like the Elizabeth Holmes trial is going on right now. I feel like we might have talked about her previously. I'm not gonna like stan her just because she's like a woman in tech, or woman in STEM, but like a little bit. I do feel like if she gets the book thrown at her while like tech giants run by, billionaire bros just get off with doing whatever they want time and time again, it's like, no, man, no, let's not do that. But they're going to hang her out to dry, and she's going to be made an example of. And I think that's wrong. And maybe I will hold a sign with Elizabeth Holmes, and I'll just wear a turtleneck in her honor.
We can do it together. We can do an entire show honoring Elizabeth Holmes. I read the book. I completely feel you. I was reading the book a couple years ago when it came out. I forgot what the guy's name is. About her situation. It was a guy from the Wall Street Journal who covered the case extensively, covered everything, the rise and the fall, and then wrote a book about it. And halfway through, I remember being on the plane and I had such emotions and I couldn't understand it because exactly what you said. It was, she's a tech giant. She clearly did not know what she was doing and it had implications potentially on people's lives. There was a lot of bullshitting happening behind the scenes, but how is that different from any other tech giant who also maybe not as directly, but can have implications on people's lives? A lot of this technology, whether it's suicide through social media or what we're seeing with teens now and body dysmorphia and a lot of issues there, or much, much worse, fascism. I mean, like, come on.
Authoritarian regimes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tax havens. I mean, it was more direct. She got caught. It was a smaller con. But I feel like when men have done this before, they kind of fall upwards. And we'll see. Maybe she lands on her feet. Maybe she joins Meta. I feel like Zuckerberg could use the help.
Oh, I was like, what's Meta? Right.
You're right. It honestly, the renaming of Facebook or whatever that entity is makes me so mad because it's an even stupider name. Yes. And again, that's like falling upwards as a white guy. Just whatever you do, you've been dancing around the gray area of legality for so long that you decided to rebrand to Meta.
That's it. I mean, Madonna can do it, so why can't Zuckerberg or whatever his name is, Jeff Zucker? I think
my femme solidarity. It's Femme Friday. it ends at Elizabeth Holmes, or no, it's sort of the tail end of Elizabeth Holmes, and definitely doesn't extend to Ghislaine Maxwell. Let's be real, all right?
Yeah,
That is
hard
she
line.
is a sociopath, and that is hard line. Forget forever. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if she'll have the same, access to faking her own death as well. I'm just kidding. It's Christmas. We shouldn't talk about these things. But
Not Christmas yet.
What?
I can't hold back for 15 days. It's not Christmas yet.
That's true. That is
Trial's
true.
still going on until
Christmas
trial's
trees.
over. What was that?
I
Go
hope
ahead.
her Christmas tree burns.
That's a safe bad thing to put on somebody. It's like we're witches. We can, good witch and bad witch. I mean, we have to own the fact that we are complicated humans who can have complicated emotions about bad people.
Yes, nuance. That's where the internet goes wrong all the time. It's like, what? You're a woman and you don't love every single woman? And it's like, no. Ghislaine Maxwell sold children into sex slavery.
Yeah.
Not a big fan.
No.
Clearly a traumatized woman who had a very rough childhood, and I have empathy for how she blossomed into this gem of a human that she was, or is, I guess. I don't know.
Blossomed. I love that.
I mean, I'm so happy we're talking about this. It wasn't even on a rundown. But did you guys the thing that she was doing in the court where she was that she was depicting the actual court stenographer? What is that?
So there's a court drawing of her, and she is drawing the court illustrator.
Stenographer is the typer.
Stenographer is the person who writes stuff down. The courtroom sketch artist, and it is the most frightening cartoon. I'm calling it a cartoon to make it less frightening that I've ever seen in my life.
Artist. Can you imagine what the artist is doing?
Yes.
Talk about
want to
all
interview
the
the
steel. Yeah. That person was just sitting there
I want a stenographer for an artist to do that. That's meta, Zuckerberg. Okay,
Exactly. That's so true. Ghislaine is going to go work for Meta because what she did was Meta. It's all going to happen. I mean, here's also here's the last thing I'll say on solidarity. Are women just as bad as men? Blah blah blah. Stop saying Margaret Thatcher to me. Just stop saying it. Every time we're like rich white men, blah blah blah, and and you get fragile when people say men. Just own it, understand that, and don't retort. Well, Margaret Thatcher, yeah, that's one. You got one. Hillary Clinton, not on the same level. Madeleine Albright, also not on the same level. But who else? Come on. Okay, now you got Ghislaine. You got two now. I'll wait because you're really not stacking these creepos up like men are stacking on top of each other.
Well, you have to go back to Lucretia Borgia to get the fifth one.
We could do a running count on the show. Bad women, horrible men,
sociopathic women, sociopathic men. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and the greater education here for the men that are watching, and please share it with your other male comrades out there. And I say comrades because this is the thing on the left. There's the system, there's the power structures. If our power structures are determined and written and run by male energy, testosterone, you're going to have to be accommodating to that. So if you're one of 5 women in a lawmaking body that has 100 men, you're going to be forced to operate within those conditions. And sometimes, especially in different eras where, different rules applied, there are tough choices. And so you end up like a Margaret Thatcher. But say in the situation of now we have a city council that is majority is women, is made up of, our city council in New York City is majority held by women now. Mm-hmm. Some are conservative. But what I think is going to be fascinating is, especially if there's a female speaker, which there better be, the modus operandi is going to shift. It is just going to be a different way of doing business. And I think it'll actually push the men to, hopefully, especially if they're progressive, to deal in a different way. And I really hope that it turns out that way. And that's why you need more women in office. On that note, let's just, I do want to talk about the situation in Finland, because here's an area where we can get into nuance. Have you heard about the leader of Finland? Do you guys know about this? Do we have this in our rundown? Is it up there? don't know if we have it up there. David, it's in the Slack. I'm sorry. I thought this was up there in the rundown too. Okay, well, the leader of Finland was in a little bit of hot water over the fact that she, a 36-year-old, although I don't think that matters, was out at a nightclub and did not bring her work cell phone, and they were trying to reach her, and then they found out she was out until 4 a.m. dancing.
Get it, girl.
Yeah.
Like, have you guys heard of the bunga bunga parties in Italy? Like bunga bunga, what are they called? Bunga bunga?
Yeah, boonga. So not COVID safe. Yeah.
So
really.
not COVID safe.
Just so much authoritarian droplets interchanging with other authoritarians' droplets.
Yep.
Oh God. No, it's so funny because there's once in a while, and I'm not going to, name countries, but it usually comes out of the UK, even though I know this was Finland, but let's be real, it's probably a UK tabloid. You always get like a headline from like 75, like years ago, where I was like, oh, young lady out partying, and you're like, what the what are we? Where are we? What year is this? Yeah, man, she missed a text message. Sorry. Maybe you should go there and tell her. I don't know. Like, it's not that big of a deal. And yeah, girl, live your life, man. Like, I'm not even going out clubbing and I'm vaccinated. Like, that's sad. That's sad. That's the story. This woman, 38-year-old woman, won't even go out dancing, even though she's double vaxxed, maybe soon to be triple. Like, put that on a headline.
Exactly. I mean, Lauren, this reminds me, just to go back to Eric Adams, because Eric Adams, our mayor-elect, he's the new nightclub mayor. That is what he is billing him. I'm like, income inequality, all this stuff is happening, housing crisis, and he's like, New York is back because I'm at that Bond, what is that place called? That 31 Bond, 37 Bond? It's some like really hard to get into membership-only nightclub that he goes to regularly. Yeah, because
I want an article about him every time he goes to anything and has some fun. And I want the question to be asked of whether it's possible he's still able to do his job. Yes. Also, he has children or a child. Is he able to be a mayor? I don't know.
Who's at home taking care of them?
Yeah. I think they're adults, but like, who's going to be there to give them advice?
Let's keep it going. What else could
So does this mean he's like getting rid of those cabaret laws in New York, or is that not on the table?
I think the cabaret laws are out. This happened a couple of years ago, if I believe.
Oh, I haven't been. Oh God. I haven't lived in New York for a long time. Where it's like, no dancing. This is a bar. How dare you? And we were like, what?
It was always enforced, guys.
Yeah. Always. There was, the dance police.
Man, you're gyrating too much. You're supposed to just sit there very still.
Just wear a mask. That's all we ask you. You can dance. Just do it with your mouth covered at all times.
What I really want to know about the Finnish prime minister is, was she gyrating? Was she standing there still whilst drinking? How does she club in nightclubs? I think it's really cool, and I would just like to follow suit.
We should do a special investigation. Actually, let's open up the crowdfunding right now. David, can we get a link in the next 3 minutes? The three of us are on a special investigative trip, if we can get there out of this country, to Finland to interview her and maybe shadow her and just say, like, how do you do it all? Who knew women could have it all? Running a government.
I think it's dope as hell, man. Like, I definitely want to party with her. And it's such a funny, ironic way to find out that Finland's prime minister is a woman, a young woman.
I know.
And you're like, oh, cool. Oh, you're shaming her for going out. Got it. Makes sense. But yet, count us in. We're there.
Yep.
We got your back, girl.
We got to get a few more boosters. I'll just take them all in. I think it's a little easier in Europe to get more and more boosters. So we'll stock up. We'll be ready. We'll wear the masks. And David, you can come along if you want.
I'm gonna write her name in. I'm gonna write her name in the next time we have a federal election for president. If Donald Trump doesn't run,
she did defeat a bunch of fascists, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. See,
there's a rise of the right in Finland, and there's I don't know if you guys remember all the shootings that happened there. So this was pretty powerful. A left woman, she's center left, but she's to us, she's like further left than Bernie Sanders. So sounds great. David, breaking news. The link is waronfinlandclubbing.com.
Amazing.
Throw in $5. We'll get there within 2 years.
Okay, we're going.
All right. And other really, really important news. I swear to God, there's other news. I just needed to talk about this with you. So the New York Times, the most important publication in this country, has decided to not, again, we start off with Stephen Donziger, has not done one story on Stephen Donziger, unprecedented case, right? But they're really obsessed with the fact that there is a movement by Gen Z. I don't know what that means. I guess they're a club now, saying that birds aren't real. Of course, they had to note it's a parody social movement with a purpose, its creators say. It's actually kind of brilliant. I'm not going to lie. I want to know where this money is coming from. I need to understand how this all came about. But it's of course to challenge the QAnon community, which believes that JFK might be.
I'm sorry. It says birds charge on power lines on that van. Like
I just like the single lies on the door.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Lies. Birds charge on power is fucking hilarious. I forgot if I could swear or not. I mean, I'm mad that like I didn't think of this first, because this is wonderful. They should have done it. Like New York Times editorial decisions aside, this movement is actually really funny, and I love it. I love anything that's trolling how toxic and bizarre our internet and outrage culture and our conspiracy culture is. So I saw some people who were like, oh, but what if folks fall for it? Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, let them do it. I want to see that meeting.
It's a better use of their time than trying to prove that vaccines don't stop a virus. I'd rather them like be chasing birds around and calling them liars.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like if you can get in, the way that these movements are structured is they hook you in where you are, and then they lead you. Their goal is to lead you down this like JFK Jr. is actually running for president or something. I don't even know what's going on.
Are they still there, by the way?
I think they are. Yeah.
In Dallas, right?
Do they like the Kennedys? What is that?
I really don't know the whole loop, but dear friend of the show and friend Jason Selvig has a shirt in his latest Instagram post where it's like checkmate Biden JFK Jr. 2024.
I love it.
No, but this is really cool because this is the story behind it is Peter McIndoe. He's 23. The New York Times describes him as a floppy-haired college dropout. You got to mention that in Memphis, who created Birds Aren't Real on a whim in 2017. He stayed in character as the conspiracy theory's chief believer, and they would protest outside of Twitter's headquarters in San Francisco.
That's the most productive thing a 19-year-old has ever done.
I think it's incredible.
Yeah.
No, and I think like if you mirror that up against, just to go back to the Ghislaine Maxwell, all these like accounts that were monitoring the courtroom, like what was happening in the courtroom, because of course it's not being filmed, they were suspended. And these weren't even like, they weren't even sharing opinions. They were just like, here's the information from the trial. This person said this.
What?
They were the court's not, they've been suspended, yet these crazy QAnon accounts. And Kim Iverson has a verified, I mean, she's an actual conspiracy theorist that is on a platform now with a blue check mark, but our dear friend David Dole isn't, verified, and he has like, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of
blue check marks are overrated, and especially if you have a blue check mark and you have like an opinion about anything, everyone's like, oh, you have a blue check mark. And you're like, I don't want to be here anyway, bro.
Yeah. I have to now. No, but I mean, the point is that like that's where Twitter's, prioritizing folks right now. I don't know. All right. Let's do
as a blue check mark. I will say they're overrated.
100%.
I definitely can filter people out. That's the one thing I like is, you can filter out some of the nasty mentions. All right. So Dan Crenshaw, the Republican, he's really standing out as a moral compass for the Republican Party because he believes that the Freedom Caucus members are performance artists. This is the guy, by the way, who I don't know if you've seen his campaign videos. They're like superhero ads. Like literally, they cost like $2 million to produce. All right, let's play this clip.
Yes, it's an institution that governs for the American people, but it's also a workplace that has to have rules, which is why this is interesting. This is Dan Crenshaw, a relatively new conservative member of the House of Representatives, doesn't get all the attention that a Lauren Boebert gets or that an older member like a Paul Gosar gets. Dan Crenshaw says this is probably why.
There's two types of members of Congress. There's performance artists and there's legislators. Now, the performance artists are the ones that get all the attention. Are the ones you think are more conservative because they know how to say slogans real well.
He's absolutely right. He's absolutely right in the sense he made a point at the same event that Adam Kinzinger, who is viewed as a pariah by Trump world, actually voted with Trump more than a lot of members of these, the Matt Gaetzes and the Lauren Boeberts of the world. But to Dan Crenshaw's point, Lauren Boebert knows the progressives are mad at her. Lauren Boebert knows she said racist and Islamophobic things. Lauren Boebert, you would think normally you take a low profile. Nope. Lauren Boebert puts out this picture of her and kids with their weapons, essentially following another Republican Congressman, Massey, who did the same thing. Confrontation is her business. Controversy is her game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the Republican Party right now. I mean, to the Republican Study.
Okay. So, it's not just, this is not new in politics, obviously. We can take the clip off. We're done with them. Those people. I love how he just does not hold back. He has no opinion. He is not a journalist anymore. He's full on commentator. There's no difference between our show and that show anymore. But what I find interesting is the business model has always existed, right? It's always existed that campaigns do things. They have PR stunts to raise money, to get attention, to break through the press. But the internet has made it just so they've sped up the process so much more, whether it's the news cycle or the ability to generate outrage. And it's dangerous. Now we're seeing, forget about the guns. That's dangerous in itself. The attacks that they're against, the squad members who have personal security that they can't pay for, out of their funds that the government provides for them. They have to go into their campaign accounts.
Yeah.
They're raising money to have security guards because, they get so many death threats. I don't know why we haven't done anything. Why is leadership just sitting? At least passed a law, do something.
Yeah. I think after January 6th, I'm like, look, I am not pro cop, but maybe I'm a little bit pro cop. Where's the protection here? And yeah, so you think about someone like Representative Omar, being hung out to dry and having to pay out of pocket for her own security detail. That's BS. So I don't know where things stand on all that. But in terms of Dan Crenshaw, obviously he is describing himself, Mr. Eye Patch Man, who jumps out of planes and does skydiving for a campaign ad. What are you talking about? What are your policy ideas? If you actually talk about policy, go. What are they? We'll wait.
Freedom. Lauren, I want to get to your response real quick, but I really do want to play what Francesca just mentioned, this clip of Dan Crenshaw, being a freedom fighter for us. We don't have to watch the whole thing. I can't even.
Oh my God, it's worse.
Why are we watching him drink coffee?
Hey, I can do that too, guys.
Very creepy.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to save Texas. To do so, you must recruit an exceptional team of congressional candidates. They must be courageous, patriotic, and absolutely fearless. Time is of the essence. The nation's future is dependent upon your success.
Anyways, that was him just getting ready to jump out of an airplane and take on Washington. It's so well produced on top of it. It cost a lot of money. And if it didn't, someone should investigate that. Lauren, go ahead. You've run for Congress. Did you have an ad like that?
Oh my gosh. Well, my dear friend, who was a videographer, did his very first video that was our introductory video. It was the rate we could afford, and it ended up being really beautiful. But not everyone has a Spencer Snyder. Anyway, I'm baffled at the fact. I realize that there's still ongoing arrests and investigations, but I feel like for being so pro-safety, pro-law, quote unquote, not real at all, but for being like law-abiding citizens, I just find it so strange that we don't hear a lot of like Dan Crenshaw's talking about how a bunch of people tried to get into Congress and murder a bunch of people, including Mike Pence.
Right.
Like they wanted to murder him by the end of the day, and he's like, "Oh, that's okay, that's fair." And I just, where are we? I don't understand what we are anymore, other than potentially a failed experiment. That's kind of where I am right now.
I think it's interesting you say that, because I remember in the wake of the George Floyd protests in the summer of continuing on, obviously, but those incredible uprisings that happened. I remember thinking, all these cities have, Republicans are right. All these cities do have Democratic mayors. But I was more concerned that the Democratic mayors were so afraid of the police force, and thinking, God, at least, De Blasio could just investigate the Eric. I mean, it took so long to get him to move on Eric Garner. As they got to have something on him. They must be doing something. And then sure enough, they doxed de Blasio's daughter. Right. And de Blasio still couldn't stand up to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which makes me think there's something like, I mean, you want to talk about deep state. That's the deep state. They're so afraid of something. And I don't know what it is, but it's enough to put your own family at risk. Like, what is it that they have on them?
Yeah.
It's worse than like maybe your daughter getting hurt. I don't even know what that is.
Exactly.
I mean, and it's also like losing donors. There's also that part. I mean, I think in terms of
parties, not gonna lie, it's the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Yeah, exactly. I just want that front row seat. I get it. Cecily Strong is there, and that's great. I wouldn't want to give that up either. But I feel like Alex Vitale, who writes about, he's got a book called The End of Policing, and he's just an awesome scholar and thinker on police and the idea of abolishing them. He always talks about Democratic mayors as like needing police, because they basically, when Democratic mayors are not able to deliver or do not put ending income inequality first, someone has to police that income inequality. Someone has to lock up homeless people. Someone has to, clean up the clutter that is the mess, that not actually addressing things like housing, healthcare, human rights, human services, mental health care services that creates. So it's like, yeah, man, Democratic mayors love the police.
Right. Yeah, they don't want to take on their donors. They don't want to tax. Forget about taxing wealthy people. I mean, they'll find another place. They don't want to tax real estate, which is making money off of keeping people unhoused, having a bunch of empty apartments owned by oligarchs who aren't paying taxes and hiding their money and paying in cash. And so it creates this. It shifts how cities function right now, and it's happened at a much faster rate than I think anybody could have imagined. Lauren, because you literally moved from the Upper East Side to my neighborhood. In fact, you're in the other room right now.
Yeah, we are pretty much neighbors now. But yeah, I've gotten pushed from apartment to apartment. First of all, because having a rent stabilized apartment is extremely rare, and rent stabilization also isn't a complete fix in and of itself, because there's two different rates: the real rate that they're allowed to charge you and the rate that you pay, and this differential, which could be like $1,000, that could change at any given time. Totally legal.
Totally legal. This is the world that we live in. All right. I want to touch on two more issues before we wrap up. We have this the new Twitter policy. Let's play that.
So a lot of people recently reached out to me about some changes that Twitter made, specifically to their private information and media policy. Now, this part of their terms of service already made it a violation if someone was to maliciously share like personal phone numbers, someone's banking information, their medical records, but it recently added media of private individuals without the permission of the person or persons depicted. So any image or video of a person without that person expressly saying, yes, take my image and use it, In other words, every video that I make trying to find someone. Now, Twitter claimed that this update was to help curb the misuse of media to harass, intimidate, and reveal the identities of private individuals, which disproportionately impact women, activists, dissidents, and members of minority communities. Bullshit. The other rules already did that. When you're talking about activists, especially regarding marginalized communities, we show our face. We don't have to hide. It's the people spreading hate that hide in the shadows. So with this rule, there's a video where someone screams racial slurs and attacks someone physically. And then I get that video and I go, hey, this person was attacked. They want to press charges. This is a hate crime. That video technically isn't allowed to be here. And it doesn't stop there. When the tragedy was happening at Astroworld, a lot of those people used Twitter to get out what was going on. All those videos have to be pulled because there's people in it that didn't give permission. Or January 6th, the insurrection. Yes, people there were recording, but a bunch of people in the frame didn't give permission to be there. The FBI used that to arrest a ton of people. But by this rule, that stuff can't be on Twitter. And of course, it took no time for bad people to weaponize this. One of the Nazi organizers from Charlottesville made this post to a Discord. Due to the new privacy policy at Twitter, things now unexpectedly work more in our favor, as we can take down Antifa F-slurs doxing people, and then he posted a ton of old tweets that he feels violated this new ruling. And his little Nazis came in mass and reported those tweets and got a bunch of activists' accounts suspended or deleted. So Twitter, not only did you not protect those disproportionately affected groups, you just gave the very people who want to hurt them another tool to do just that.
I don't even know what to say at this point. We have these incredible crises, terrorist attacks on the Capitol, a massive shooting after massive shooting, horrible tragedy at Astroworld, and yet the lesson is to quadruple down. Twitter's a very smart company. They are very aware of their data. They are very aware of who gets affected most by this. Francesca, what do you think? You've been on Twitter for a while.
Yeah, I think this goes hand in hand with a lot of things that big platforms and tech firms do always, which is create new restrictions and user agreements that are supposed to, they claim, protect people who are marginalized, but they never actually talk to those marginalized people ever. They never actually consulted them. They never actually give them the reins. They never invite them in the room. They never sit down with the groups and the people who've been most targeted and affected and trolled and doxxed and even threatened with their lives. They never let them write the policy. They're just like, no, this is totally going to protect you. But actually, I'm like, you know who is protected by the Astroworld videos not coming out? Live Nation. Mm-hmm. Corporations are protected when you don't allow videos like that to come out. So yeah, you always wonder, and behind the scenes, there's definitely going to be corporations who are like, we need to tamp down on some of these videos that are going out around there. And of course, Nazis are going to find those loopholes and be like, tight, this is great.
I think the other way that it's censoring important information is Twitter and social media has been a really great platform for showing how abusive the police are against people of color. Yep. And I guess we're not allowed to post those videos now either of police just like beating people.
But are they private? They're not private. Those are public employees. So
okay. That's the line.
Well, that's my loophole. They have their Nazi loophole. This is the Nomi loophole.
But you could see a scenario in which it would be censored because it's like, oh, look, there's violence happening. Right. It's like, yeah, we know. That's the point of sharing it.
Yeah.
That's insane. Okay, speaking of violence, in the ongoing, we saved the best for last. In the ongoing, attacks against women. So we are fully aware of what's been happening in Texas in terms of the laws that have come out because hey, Dems, be great if you actually had some sort of investment in local parties so you could fight off these Republicans who've decided to take over our legislatures and gerrymander the heck out of the next 10 generations of our policies. So Supreme Court rules today, this morning, that Texas abortion providers can actually sue over the ban, but they won't stop the law because, why would they do that? They're a conservative activist court that has a mission. Lauren, how dystopian, where are our lines of defense at this point? Attorney General Tish James has announced that there is a pathway now in New York for abortion providers here to pay for abortions for folks who come in from other states. You know, if even if you're not covered by New York insurance, or I mean, we're more covered here because we have obviously a Democratic controlled state for now. But I mean, is that the only line of defense at this point, is lawsuits and having the financial ability to go to another state that can provide an abortion? And obviously there's some risky situations and, you know, why people have to get abortions.
Yeah, I think our leadership, including the Supreme Court, are completely failing the country. This is one of the examples of one of the greatest failures in modern history, is that we're putting so many women in danger again. Like, we've already fought this battle many, many times. Frankly, I'm bored. This is a boring conversation and fight, and we keep coming back to it. And also, there are so many studies with so much data about how abortions decrease whenever you make them legal and increase the education about safe sex.
Right.
Crazy, right? If we just make sure that everybody has preventative measures to prevent unwanted babies from being conceived in the first place, then abortions drop. Why don't we focus on that? But I encourage women who live in red states to get the fuck out. And
if you can.
I wish there was a special fund to get them housing up here, because frankly, I hope that all of these Republican men never get to sleep with any women ever again.
David, can we work on that link and have that by the end of the show? Fund for red state women. We don't care if you're Republican.
Relocate women to blue states.
Come on up here.
You know, maybe, my God, I thought of an idea, guys. Got it. Ready? You know how Texas always wants to like secede from the nation, and like Austin's always like, but what about us? Okay. Ooh, hey, Felix.
That's Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Hey.
Speaking of someone to blame.
Oh, no. Don't blame the woman.
Did she come back as a cat? Because that cat looks young.
Yes, this is Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I named her that because she has Supreme.
She a collar?
Yeah,
she's got the collar.
Oh my God,
she's got the collar.
So perfect timing. She had to get in on it. But what if we carve out part of a state, like in a left state, but like specifically, it could be New York, right? It could literally be Astoria. What if just like the people of Astoria decide we're not, you know, we're going to declare our own state, not like our own zone, but our own state, and only women are allowed to be here, and that's it. And if you are a woman, if you identify as a woman, you are welcome to the feminist state of Astoria, or these two streets in Astoria. Sorry, we have
feminist state of Astoria sounds really dope.
Right?
I love it.
I think it's going to require a little bit of organizing. It might get a little messy, pushing out the men.
But I need guns. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
I would like to partner with the Prime Minister of Finland.
I
think that's why we need to meet her in a nightclub and discuss.
Yes. Okay, what if we honey trap? I got it. Invite all the men, all the straight men, and the gay men, but it'll be different kind of nightclub. And you honey trap them into coming, and then you just put them on a bus and send them to the right red states.
Yeah.
I was thinking more of like along the lines of like Hustlers, like, you know, get them real drunk and steal their money type thing, use their credit cards to fund the state. But it's a slower process.
We're going to Mackenzie Bezos. I think she's a little pissed off at her ex. And
is someone lobbying Mackenzie? Because I feel like she's ripe at this moment.
I'm on it.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
this is a great plan. Mackenzie, Prime Minister of Finland, us. I think we're on a roll here.
You know, as crazy as this might sound, you know what's crazier? Every effing thing that Republicans come up with on a day-to-day basis that gets passed. So as crazy as we sound, why not try something new?
Well, I'm, I just want to say, making it a little bit serious, I agree with Lauren that I'm actually really bored of having to refight this fight over and over again. And it makes me wonder what the F, pro-choice organizations and Democrats have been up to this entire time. Is this live? Because that's dope.
Yeah, it's developing right now. Oh no, it's It's from earlier.
Well, I mean, and look, these are the things, women having to get arrested, people having to risk their lives and take out, this is part of their time and dedicating their lives to this work. But I'm like, a lot of the pro-choice work has been wrapped up in the nonprofit industrial complex for a very long time now. And to what end? Right. We've seen what the right has wanted to do when it comes to abortion rights. Yeah. They took the L for a while, but that they've been, grooming people like, Brett Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett for a very long time. They know what the natural conclusion of these, sort of the origin story of these anti-abortion villains has been, they've been there. They got the prequels, and now we're seeing the real thing. They're in the Supreme Court. So what's the response? What's been our origin story? Where's our sort of anarchist, butch, lesbian lawyers that we've been funneling through the system who are now we're gonna cut off all the dicks. You know what I mean? I want that.
I've been saying no, but seriously, it's not the dicks, it's the testicles, because that's where the anger lies.
Exactly.
We've all had I'm not kidding. I've said this over and over. And our dear friend of the show, Rab, from Pennsylvania, he's a state rep.
The testicles.
It's the testicles.
Sorry, keep going.
It's the testes, guys. I'm so passionate about this. It just comes out so. Rep Rab has heard me say this so many times that he actually presented a bill in the House, the Republican House in Pennsylvania, saying that all men. I said it was too incrementalist for me. If you're going to do it, go all in. You let them negotiate the terms. But all men over the age of 40 or who have had more than 3 children are forced to have vasectomies. And I'm like, great. Still not far enough. If you're going to do, and he calls it a parity bill. I'm like, don't call it a parity bill. That's not a parity bill. That should happen.
Real bill.
It's a real bill.
Real bill.
I'm announcing my run for governor today. And I have New York governor now that our queen Tish James has decided to step down, even though she would have won. And there's no reason
wait, for real?
Yes. Yeah, she's running again for AG. Yeah, we've left that out of the show, but I will
address it at another point.
Yeah, I'll address it. She definitely had a pathway. I think that I don't know what was going on in her head, but I'm sure there were a lot of advisors around there telling her, there were a lot of hit pieces coming out saying she wasn't raising money, even though she raised $1 million in 3 weeks. And Kathy Hochul's had the year and she raised $4 million. And I'm like, and the campaign hasn't even started. It didn't make any sense to me. She had a clear pathway. It didn't make sense. So
I'm voting for the Prime Minister of Finland.
Lauren wants everyone.
Voting for me.
Oh, right. I'm voting for you. And then she can be your
LG.
Yes.
I don't think, we just need to see if you can I don't know if the residency law, that would be fascinating loophole.
You know what? It's better than a sex pest. Someone who's not even from here.
What's a sex pest?
Oh, like Cuomo.
Yeah. Oh.
Someone who may or may not even come to New York during their term is still better than Cuomo.
Totally. I do feel like Eric Adams would probably try to court and get along with the Prime Minister of Finland, because they're like, I like clubbing, you like clubbing. Isn't everyone vegan in Finland?
All right, that's the pathway. You got to meet people where they are. And physically, they're at the nightclub. And that's where all the, it used to be that she should have responded and said, these bros have been going to the golf course and going fishing because they're in Finland, whatever they do over there. And that's where they have all their little private meets, strip clubs, of course. She wants to go clubbing. She's like, I do business and I dance and I take the phone out of the room because I know you guys are monitoring me. So bye-bye.
Yeah, what they wanted to hear was just I'm looking for a husband for the future to make the future of Finnish people. That's what they wanted. Nope.
I love it.
Oh my God. All right. Finland Prime Minister for governor.
Can we get a name? What's her name again?
I'm going to look it up right now.
I think it's really hard to say. That's why we keep.
Sanna Marin. Wow. That's a name. Or Sanna. Dude.
What is it? Where is it?
Sanna Marin.
That's actually not that bad.
I thought Sanna Marin for lieutenant governor.
Nomiki Konst, Sanna Marin ticket. Forced vasectomies for all.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
I I love it. You guys would make awesome running mates.
Yes.
I can feel it. I think we we just have to call her up. Someone, if you know Sana Marin, please send this to her. We have the website already set up because we are, I don't know, you may think that I'm just sitting here up against a wall with a light behind me, but we have a real operation. It is a massive operation on the other end. We are like purposely trying to be accessible here.
Yeah, all you have to do is announce, and all the Finnish media is going to come to you.
You could definitely, like, first of all, that's my backup plan, is to go to Finland and like have a late night show, you know, in like 5 years if this whole news comedy thing doesn't work out. I mean, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think I could do that. And
You know
they
what
all
they
speak
say.
English.
As Finland goes, so goes New York. I love you ladies so much. Thank you for Femme Friday. You were a blast. You made my Friday. Please, let's do this again soon.
Please.
In the
And then
meantime,
also, I'll meet you guys in the club.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
just gonna
obviously.
say, what you wearing tonight?
This.
Can I show you what I'm actually wearing right now? I told David, he was like, I don't do this normally for the show.
Please be a cat suit. Oh my God.
I told him, I said, normally I dress up, but I'm so cold. I'm wearing definitely not matching. Wait, where are my slippers?
Oh my God, yes.
It's Femme Friday. They say casual Friday. Wait, where are my slippers? Slippers
So cute.
doesn't match, doesn't matter. Who cares? I know this is what everybody's been doing. And like, listen, if this is my worst crime, then Jeffrey Tubin's still back on air.
That is a queen's outfit. That
Yes.
is a queen's attire.
Mm-hmm.
Scruffy pants. All right. Love you guys. Have a great, great, great weekend. And to everybody else, thank you for sticking around for Femme Friday. I hope you've learned a lot. We're going to keep bringing it to you. We're going to shove it down your throats. Share it with the other men, because we know the majority of you are men watching, because I know the analytics of YouTube politics.
We're going to cut your testicles off.
Yes, that's the lesson here. But you can be a great ally too. And if you live in Astoria and you're a man, we're coming for you. We're coming.